Last time on Shadow Piece, the battle between Cavendish and Katarina Devon continued. As the pirate prince was still locked away in another realm, his subordinate Suleiman had to step up and protect his captain. He managed to do so for a bit before his death was right before his eyes. That would have been the case if he wasn't saved by a surprise guest, Hakuba. With the sin of lust sealed away, his second personality became dominant and took over. Knowing what this person was like, Suleiman quickly backed away to safety. "Hey bitch, you're bleeding." It was the nonchalant tone in which he was talking, and the matter-of-factness that caught Katarina unprepared. She looked at her own body, before spotting countless cuts all over her arms. None of them were particularly deep, but it sent a message to her. This person could have already killed her if he truly wanted to. Instantly going into her hybrid zone form, she attempted multiple techniques, but all were stopped by Hakuba. Only when the Titanic captain absorbed a massive amount of fire to enter a stronger form, she reached a speed that could somewhat keep up with that monstrous swordsman. After a demonstration of a minorly charged fox bomb, Devon started preparing another one that was at least 3 times as strong. But as she did so, Hakuba continued to mess with her in a way of showing his dominance, by only injuring her very slightly with every attack. And when she finally unleashed the fox bomb that was charged for 10 seconds, the unexpected happened. Hakuba put Durandal, his blade, back into its sheath, taking the full force of the attack with his, or rather Cavendish's body, not even putting up any sort of haki defense. The explosion overtook his body completely. "Murun Fufufu, even you should be dead after this." The fiery sphere remained around the human for some time. Devon expected only a pile of ashes to remain, but that kind of thought process always led to negative outcomes. So when the smoke started to dissipate and a silhouette could still be seen, Katarina's jaw just dropped. Blood was dripping everywhere, and his clothes got completely burned away. However, he was standing there, as if nothing happened. Seeing the pure crimson appearance of the warrior, and then his glaring yellow eyes made the Titanic captain shiver in fear. Out of pure reflex, she changed into her full Zoan form, unleashing the full size of the yokai. Over 20 meters tall, dark orange fur, and an aura that commanded respect. Out of her mouth, another fox bomb got shot. In her full Zoan form, it required only a quarter of the charge-up time compared to in her hybrids. But now that Hakuba had experienced what the attack felt like once, he had no interest in receiving it anymore. The sheer size of the attack made it impossible to dodge, so he took out the rundle again and sliced it up into pieces. Some explosions still hit him, but others flew into many different directions. Cool guys don't look at explosions, so the cruel swordsman just started dashing towards the giant beast. His willpower enveloped his blade, and with rough and fierce actions, he attacked the demon all over. The cuts were effective, but when he looked at the fox again, they were all gone instantly. Yokais, especially high-ranking ones, were known for their almost godlike regeneration abilities, basically turning them immortal. Hakuba went for attack after attack, cutting off limb after limb, and yet it was all for naught. It just recovered an instant later. This is annoying, he clicked his tongue, thinking about the situation. He may have played with his prey a bit too much. Managing to keep the damage he received himself minimal gave him more time, but he almost just had to hope that the continuous regeneration was exhausting Katarina Devon, and not that it merely was a passive action she could keep up forever. Hakuba locked eyes with Suleiman, before starting to sprint away. "Murun Fufufufu, so you decided to turn tail, like the coward you are." The gigantic beast immediately went on the pursuit. With its sheer size, the structures of Hachinosu Island already suffered a lot of destruction. But with claw swipes, tail stabs, and fire attacks, the entire district they were passing through turned into a wasteland. Whirlwind Demon Hakuba. His speed was one of the best in the world, and so he managed to evade most of the attacks. The area erupted into chaos as the nine-tailed fox lunged forward, its deep orange fur glowing eerily in the light produced by the fire. Each of Katarina's tails lashed with the force of a hurricane, tearing through trees and scattering buildings like a storm. Hakuba, lean and swift, darted between the carnage, his rapier flashing as he struck out at the yokai's enormous form. "Too slow, beast." The second personality taunted, though his breath came in sharp gasps. His feet barely touched the ground as they propelled him forward again, weaving through the streets like an experienced travel guide. Behind him, the fox's claws slammed into the earth, leaving craters in its wake. Each missed strike shook the ground, sending up sprays of dirt and shattered rocks. The yokai snarled, her glowing eyes narrowing with frustration. "You cannot outrun me, you cockroach!" Her voice boomed, a deep reverberating growl that sent shivers down the spines of every person that could hear it. With a deft twist of his body, the pirate prince leapt over buildings, turning mid-air to thrust his rapier at the fox's body once more. The blade bit into the yokai's fur, but the monster retaliated instantly, snapping one of her tails like a whip. The force of the blow grazed Hakuba's shoulder, spinning him off course and slamming him into a house. He gritted his teeth, scrambled to his feet, and ignored the sharp pain now blossoming in his ribs. As he rushed out, a quick glance revealed a family picture of a mother, a father, and their 2 sons. The Titanic captain pressed the attack, her 9 tails sweeping the area like scythes. Trees were uprooted and flung aside as if they were twigs. A massive boulder shattered into dust as it barreled through. Hakuba even had to duck and roll, narrowly avoiding a swipe that would have cleanly cut him into 2 pieces. "Come on, almost there," he muttered under his breath, casting a quick look towards the faint glimmer of the ocean on the horizon. The air was thick with tension, the scent of fire mingling with the salt of the sea breeze. Hakuba felt the ground tremble beneath his feet as he ran, the yokai closing the distance with terrifying speed. It was no ordinary pursuit. This was a battle of life and death, where a single misstep could mean his end. In a quick move, the swordsman skidded to a halt and lunged to face the yokai with a spin, with the rundle firm in his blood-covered hand, aiming for the glowing eyes. Katarina reared back, her maw opening to release a searing burst of fire. The Sin of Lust dove to the side, the heat of the flames licking at his heels as the inferno turned the surrounding area into hell in an instant. "Not good enough," the split personality hissed, slashing again at one of the creature's legs. The blade connected, drawing a streak of blood. Devon howled, her cry echoing across the island. Enraged, she lashed out wildly, her tails whipping through the air with such force that the warrior of the Fleet of Death was nearly knocked off of his feet. The ocean was close now. The sound of waves crashing against rocks grew louder and louder with every step. One last push before he could sleep again. Hakuba accelerated one last time, his legs burning with effort. Behind him, the yokai roared ferociously, her massive form rushing forward, tearing up the earth in her fury. Hakuba could feel the heat of her breath on his back as he reached the island's edge. "Now or never," he whispered, gripping his rapier tightly. He turned, meeting the fox's sharp and glowing eyes with a determined glare. The beast lunged forward, her jaws snapping inches from his face. In a quick movement, Hakuba got behind the yokai, and with an attack from there, he attempted to push her into the ocean. But when she was about to fall into it, she gracefully just jumped onto the air and returned back to land. "Murun Fufufu, so that was your desperate plan to win against my most powerful form. Pathetic." The only female Titanic captain mocked the Sin of Lust for his strategy, as they stood in front of each other again for yet another exchange of attacks. And this is the end of this episode of Shadow Piece. I hope you enjoyed it, because Katarina Devon, she's not a pushover. And the yokai, well, the Nine-Tailed Fox, yes, I was slightly inspired by Naruto by some things that you could see. Like the Fox Bomb, that's just a Biju Bomb. And the thing where she absorbed fire and turned into a stronger, more powerful form, that is kind of just inspired by Naruto's like QB mode, where he has like the orange veil over him. But I feel like it's a cool idea, it's a cool homage to Naruto as well, and it fits with Katarina Devon being the Nine-Tailed Fox. And now Hakuba has to deal with it. He wanted to use some strategy, because defeating her by just sheer force wasn't really possible with her regeneration. But will his strategy work out, or will there be some other twist in the future? That will be for you to find out in the future episodes of Shadow Piece. But for now, all that's left to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro, out. Bye.